Hi everyone, I am Mina Altanslar and I'm a first year industrial engineering student at Bilkent University. Today I'm going to present my PHYS102 project and this experiment subject is dielectric coefficient's impact on capacitance, and the purpose of this experiment is to observe the effect of the area and layout of a material with the electric coefficient on the capacitance, at the same time to observe the relationship between the distance between capacitors and the capacitance. First, I started the experiment by observing the change in capacitance by increasing the distance between the two capacitors to 3, 5 and 7 centimeters respectively without placing anything between the capacitors. And this is the table with the calculations. Then I placed a piece of styrofoam with thickness of half the distance between the capacitors and noted the change in capacitance. We expect a system like this to behave as if there were two capacitors connected in series. So when calculating the C1 and C2, I must multiply one by the coefficient of the styrofoam while not multiplying the other one. At the same time, I used half the distance between the two capacitors as a distance and substitute in this formula. And this is the table with calculations. Finally, I placed a styrofoam whose thickness was equal to the distance between the capacitors and whose length was half the length of the capacitor. We expect such a system to behave like two separate parallel connected capacitors. Therefore, when calculating C1 and C2, we multiply one of them by coefficient and do not multiply the other. And after calculating the C1 and C2, we add them, thinking that they are connected in parallel. And this is the table with calculations. In this experiment, although the error percentages in the first table were not very high, in the second and third tables, the error percentages were very high, such as 70%. And the most important reason for this may be that I could not cut the styrofoam very properly. At the same time, since the styrofoam sometimes was not very stable, I had to hold it with my hand, which may be the reason for the high error percentages. And also, if we add other reasons such as conditions not being ideal and measuring tools not being very sensitive, we can understand the reason for the high error percentages.